Hello, everyone. It's Stephanie, and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Steph. Today's episode is coming from a place of self respect, from peace in my soul. Last episode, I talked about a life that feels like mine, how I'm choosing to live now, how my days feel more intentional, more embodied, more peaceful. But here's the thing, building a life that feels like yours is one thing. Protecting it's a whole different level of growth because it takes consistency and staying grounded over and over again. So today, I want to talk about what I'm no longer available for. And not from anger or bitterness, but from clarity. It's about boundaries that are non-negotiable because becoming also means deciding what no longer gets access to you. So if you're in a season where you're pulling back a little, becoming quieter, more selective, more protective of your energy, this episode is for you. So ahí vamos. Something interesting happens when you start choosing yourself with boundaries. Your life gets calmer, quieter. Your circle starts to get a little smaller, but in a good way. And suddenly, the things that aren't aligned feel very loud. I used to tolerate so much because chaos felt normal. Emotionally draining situations. People who always needed something but never really saw me. And back then, I thought that was just part of being strong and loving, part of being there for people. But now that my life feels more grounded, my nervous system doesn't ignore red flags anymore. My intuition is sharper than ever. And I can actually sense things even before they arrive. And my body speaks up faster than my mind. But guess what? I listen now. I've learned that peace doesn't mean nothing triggers you. It means you don't stay where you're not meant to be. And that's where this new boundary began. I want to make one thing clear, and I want to be very honest about this. I am no longer available for environments that feel heavy the moment I walk in. Conversations that drain me instead of nourish me. Explaining myself over and over to be understood. Emotional labor that isn't reciprocated. Chaos disguised as connection. Jokes that don't feel good in my body. And staying quiet to keep the peace. If my energy drops, I pay attention. If something feels off, I don't gaslight myself anymore. And this applies everywhere and everyone. Friends, family, social settings, even places I used to feel comfortable in. I used to push through discomfort just to be polite, just to not make things awkward and to not disappoint anyone. But now, if my headspace isn't there, I don't force it. If my body doesn't want to be there, I remove myself. No hesitations, no long explanations. And that doesn't make me cold. It makes me conscious. And here's the thing. I have learned to communicate this too. In a healthy way, with clarity and respect. I've learned that when you change, people notice. And sometimes they don't know how to interact with the new version of you. Some people adjust, some people fade. And that doesn't mean you did something wrong. It just means not everyone can meet you where you are now. And that is okay. And it's like I said before, some people are not meant to come with you into your becoming. Sometimes we outgrow who surrounds us. And that's growth and evolution. And I want to take a second to pause here and say something important because this part can be misunderstood. And this isn't about avoiding life. It's not about running away from hard things. And it's not about shutting people out. It's about regulation. Distance doesn't always mean disconnection. Sometimes distance is how you keep yourself steady. I've learned that detachment and space are tools, not because I don't care, but because I care deeply. When you feel deeply, when you absorb energy easily, when your heart is sensitive and open, you have to be intentional about where you place yourself. There are conversations I know I'm not ready for yet. Not because I can't handle them, but because my nervous system doesn't need that right now. There are situations my body doesn't want to process this season. And instead of forcing myself through them, I listen. There are people I love, but I need space while I regulate, heal, and stay grounded. And that doesn't make me weak. It makes me self aware. And it doesn't make me selfish either. I don't feel behind because of it, and I don't feel guilty anymore. I feel respectful toward myself because this new chapter in my life doesn't mean being available to everything. It means being intentional about what I give my energy to. It means being available when you have the capacity for it. It means choosing what supports your growth while also respecting your inner peace. One of the biggest shifts in me during this era, I don't announce my boundaries anymore. I live them. I don't argue my limits. I don't defend my needs. I don't over-explain why something doesn't work for me. I simply choose differently, and I walk away if I need to. And that took confidence, quiet confidence. And it also took courage and consistency. For me, this was so hard because I have always felt like I owe something to people. And through this, I don't. I still battle that feeling inside sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm aware of it now, and I choose differently. Because when you stop explaining yourself, people notice. Some respect it immediately, some feel confused, some feel uncomfortable, and some feel triggered. And that reaction tells you everything you need to know. I've learned that the right people don't need long explanations. They feel the shift, and they adjust with respect. The ones who don't, they reveal themselves. Protecting your energy doesn't mean pushing people away. It means holding ground for yourself and letting people meet you there if they can. This is the era where I save my effort for what's reciprocal, my time for what's aligned, my heart for what feels safe. I'm no longer available to earn love or prove my worth or shrink so someone else feels comfortable. That version of me is retired. Even if she still shows up sometimes to remind me I'm still learning. However, now I create space to receive without guilt, without rushing, and without abandoning myself. And this is where faith holds everything together. I've stopped trying to control what I let go of. I stopped gripping things that were already slipping. I let God handle what I release. I trust what's aligned will stay, and what it isn't doesn't need my force. And there's peace in that. My prayers sound different. They're no longer desperate nor fearful. They sound like trust. I don't beg God anymore. I walk with Him. I trust that what's not for me will fall away. And honestly, it already has. But I carry those moments with grace, even if it's uncomfortable at first. And that trust gives me courage to say no, without fear, without guilt, without explaining myself to the world. Because when God is holding your path, you don't have to cling to anything that isn't aligned. And if you're listening to this and thinking, I feel different. I don't tolerate the same things anymore. I'm quieter. I pull back now. I need space. I want you to hear me clearly. You're not becoming distant. You're becoming discerning. You're not cold. You're conscious. You're not difficult. You're developing self-respect. You're learning how to protect the life you're building, the peace you fought for, the clarity you earned, and the version of you that finally feels grounded. And that matters. And that isn't selfish. It's maturity. It's growth. It's choosing yourself in a way you maybe never have before. And that's something to be very proud of. So I'll leave you with this. If this episode made something click in you, trust that. That awareness is part of your becoming too. You don't have to make yourself uncomfortable to be loving. You don't have to stay where your body says no. You don't have to explain your evolution to everyone. If you're becoming more selective, more protective, and intentional, you're not doing too much. You're finally doing what's right for you. And that's how a life that feels like yours stays that way. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing yourself. And tell me, what are you no longer available for? Message me on Instagram, Unfiltered Steph Podcast, or comment below. Or share this episode with someone who needs permission to protect their peace. Until next time, stay true, stay raw, and remember, life doesn't come with a filter.